Hey gang, I wanted to tell everyone the story of the lost wedding ring. It's a very sad story. I've been working around the house on my room addition with what I could do by myself because I had to send my helper away because we didn't want to, my wife's a healthcare worker and we didn't want to pass this virus on to anybody if we get it. So I'm kind of stuck on the room addition, and that's okay. You know, that's my biggest problem. If I'm stuck on a room addition for 6 weeks, you know, I'm not going to worry about it. But we were working on it the day before. I sent him home, and gloves on, gloves off all the time, work gloves, so I don't get splinters in my hands. And the next day, after I sent him away, and the next day I was to go out to my daughter's house and pick up a bunch of things that she wanted to save before she moved out, and alone, away from everyone, social distancing, and she wasn't in the house. And so I loaded up the truck and I loaded up the trailer with the dogs in the truck, and gloves on, and I cleaned the debris out of the trailer, and gloves off, and I jump in the truck and I start driving down the driveway, and I realize my wedding ring is gone. You know, I'm loath to show off my petite movie star hands, but that's where it's supposed to go, right there. And I've had that wedding ring for 31 years, 31 and a half years. And I stopped the truck, went back, got out, looked out all around where the truck had been parked, figuring the ring came off of my hand when I pulled my glove off. Now I'm racking my brain trying to figure out if the ring was even on my hand in the morning when I got out of bed. And I don't recall. We don't often remember when we have our wedding ring on. But I always try to keep it on whenever I go out, but sometimes I take it off. I don't want it to get caught in anything that might rip my finger off in the process. Went back into the house, looked on the bed, looked under the bed, looked on the side of the bed, went down to my bathroom, looked in the bathroom area, around the shower stall. No ring. Well, I got to get this work done. Got to get this thing done for my daughter that day. So we jump in the truck and away we go. And I come back home and I park the truck and I get out and I walk all around where the truck had been parked again in an ever increasing circle, and no ring. And retraced my steps, walked across the yard from the house to the truck backwards. And my best friend, I called my best friend, and I was so sad. And my best friend said, I read somewhere that if you walk backwards while thinking about what you did, that your brain will start to work in reverse and it will start to recall events that happened previously. And I don't know if he was messing with me or not, but that's what I did, and that didn't work either. Because I couldn't think of anything that I had done to lose the ring other than put gloves on, take gloves off. So I went outside again, and I walked all around the construction area and in ever increasing circles, and I contemplated, you know, I could buy a metal detector and scour this area. It's got to be here on the property because I've been social distancing for the most part, and I haven't left the house for 3 days. It's got to be here. And I'll just have somebody, one of them cool guys from Amazon, bring me a metal detector, and I'll find my ring. It'll be a lot cheaper than a new ring. And I didn't want a new ring. I want my old ring. And my wife came home that night from work, and I told myself all day, don't cry, don't get all worked up about it. It's just a damn ring, okay? But it's your ring. And I was sitting there, and I gave her dinner, and she said, how was your day? And I started crying, and I said, I lost my wedding ring. And she said, oh, that's okay. And I go, no, it's not okay. I'm not supposed to lose my wedding ring. And she said, we'll go and you can pick out a new one. And I said, I don't want to pick out a new one. I want my wedding ring. I'm not supposed to lose it. And I said, yeah, that's really cool. You're really cool. Thanks for not being upset. And she's like, hey, I'm sure you didn't do it on purpose. And I go, no, you usually don't lose things on purpose, no. But I said, it would be cheaper to buy a metal detector than to buy a ring. I know I can find it. It's got to be here. And I'm not going to stop. And she said, yeah, that's a good idea. And we can use the metal detector for other things too. And I said, possibly. We'll never lose another ring again in the yard. And the next day, we had a predetermined appointment with recall work for her car. So she worked near the dealership that was going to fix it. So I followed her to work and I took her car and I went over to the dealership. And they're really good at the dealership about social distancing. And they had X's marked on the floor and lines and don't get too close. And, you know, that was great. So we got the car taken care of. And would you quit crying, please? Come over here. Just come here. It's Angus. What's wrong, buddy? Just 1 second. I'm almost done. The tension's building, right? So I brought the car home, brought the car back to where my wife works, and I got in my car, and I drove my car home. And I came up the driveway, and the driveway's really long. And I came up the driveway, and I stopped like, I don't know, maybe 60, 80 feet from where I had looked the previous day where my truck had been parked. And I got out of the car, and I started walking down the driveway, and I stopped about, I was in a really big circle, you know, perimeter from where the truck had been parked now. I was way far away, but I was like, I'm just going to work my way in now. And I stood there for, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, just looking around, and I'm like, well, I guess I can go forward now. And I looked down at my toe, at my feet, and there was my ring, embedded in the gravel, in the sand, in the driveway, 2 inches in front of my toe. And I screamed. It's like the ring called me to it. So happy ending, you know. And I'm wearing, and I don't know why I'm wearing it again. It doesn't come off that easy. But when you're putting gloves on and taking them off, and it gets a little bit looser, a little bit looser, a little bit looser, your hands are sweating. Maybe they get a little bit smaller because they're not retaining water. I don't know. All of a sudden, it flew off. And anyway, I wear it around the house. I haven't been doing a lot of glove work. If I'm going to put gloves on, I'm just going to leave it on my bedside table from now on. But boy, oh boy, oh boy. And you wouldn't believe, I couldn't believe how depressed and down I had been, even though trying to be mature, grown up about it, and take care of business in other ways and not worry about it. When I found that ring, I was on cloud 9 and I could have conquered the world. I put the ring on and I proceeded to do all kinds of chores outside, work around the house. I worked for like 8 hours nonstop. Went in the house, made a really nice dinner for my wife. She came home and I said, well, actually, I texted her early. As soon as I found it, I took a picture of it embedded in the gravel and texted it to her and said, found it. Never give up. Never quit. Love and peace all. Let's just try to accept one another for who they are.